Cher here, and I'm happy to be back again with another giveaway book that I'm about to quickly review, I should say. Or maybe review is not the right word, it's just my impressions of the book, though I pretty much know, like, everything that goes down in it. So today we're going to talk about Would Like to Meet by Rachel Winters. This book fully came out on December 3rd of 2019, so I am very late when it comes to talking about it. Also, like I usually do, I won this as a incomplete, uncorrected proof version. So not everything I'm going to talk about will be in the final version, but I do believe this book is mostly done. So, let's get down into it. First things first, I'm just going to say it off the bat right now. For those of you who pretty much know me by this point, I do not like stories where, especially the main character, but character that has a point in the book is incredibly unlikable. Even though I found Would Like to Meet to be very funny, for the most part, because even though the main character, Evie, does go through a lot of things in order to basically get what she wants, which basically is she wants to be a screenwriter, so she's working in the London, basically United Kingdom film industry in order to get far. The way that she does it and the people she works for, I could not find a single thing that I found endearing other than her friends, who basically are her pawns for how she's supposed to get to the top where she wants to be. Even with the guy she does get with at the end, I feel bad for him because of this bitch right here. So the book is about, her name's Evie, she wants to be a screenwriter, she works for a film industry, which, first of all, the guy that she works for, she's basically an assistant. His name's Monty, and he is the literal definition of a loser. He's a successful loser, sort of, but he is a downright loser. He's constantly drunk. He always puts Evie on the tightest deadlines and the worst situations. Basically, Monty treats Evie like your stereotypical assistant of basically kind of your slave, but you pay them, that sort of thing. But honestly, if she weren't paid, she would be like Monty, doing everything that Monty's supposed to do, but then Monty takes all the credit. Yeah, he's a literal loser. So for the latest project, Evie has to work with a famous Hollywood, London screenwriter named Urza Chester, who Evie calls Knob, which has two meanings. The first one is that Urza is also a loser, but you really don't understand why until towards the end of the book, which I'm not going to spoil right now, but Urza is also a loser and takes advantage of Evie, but Knob is also a slur word for, you know what, I don't want to get demonetized in the future when I do get monetization on this channel, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. So basically, Evie has to work with Ezra. Did I say Urza? I felt like I said Urza, that's my bad. I'm thinking about the fairy tale character, but his name is Ezra. Basically, Ezra was assigned to create a rom-com script for Monty, but Ezra is really not inspired by rom-coms, so he literally had no ideas by the deadline, and he basically tricks Evie into, giving, Monty an extension or some garbage like that, where he says if she, an aspiring screenwriter, can give Ezra meet-cutes for his script, or basically passages that she wrote herself to him, then basically he can sort them out and have them be done by the deadline. So basically, Ezra is using Evie's romantic ideas and basically writing his own script out of it, which gives you the hint already. Ezra cannot really write rom-coms for crap. Evie thinks this is her way to the top, to show Monty, to show Ezra that she really can do this. So she ends up going on a wild goose chase in order to get this rom-com script done, no matter how good or how bad it's gonna be. Oh boy. The way Evie gets there, or tries to get there, at first it starts off with Evie trying to go on her own dates with, like, random guys that she meets at random places, but then she finds that, like, every guy that she goes out with is flawed or some sort of a jerk. Like, there was this one guy she goes out with who's literally drinking and driving, and I thought, oh my god, Evie's gonna die. Like, I don't want anyone to die in those sorts of situations, because first of all, I also hate drunk drivers. You should never, if you're intoxicated in any way, shape, or form, you should never get behind the wheel. Like, call an Uber, call a friend, I don't care how much money you have to spend, just don't drive your car, because at least an Uber will be less expensive than paying for someone's funeral or hospital bills. But then, like, when Evie can't really find, like, meet cutes on her own, like, she starts, using her friends as ways to, meet men, like, around them, per se. Like, one of her friends is actually getting married, and while she's helping her friend, like, prep for the wedding, she's also kind of, like, taking pictures of, like, what Sarah's doing, or, meeting guys, kind of leaving her friend, like, to fend for herself. In a way, that sort of thing, and it starts affecting their friendship. Like, the friend's just like, oh, so you're just using me to, like, fulfill this script you're helping, like, this jerkwad write? And as much as Evie, like, didn't want to do it, at the same time, you could tell she really wanted to do it, and she had no issue, like, almost ruining her friend's wedding. Like, she ruins her friend's, like, bachelorette party because of this. Oh, by the way, in England, they call bachelorette parties hen-dos. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. I probably mispronounced that wrong. I probably pronounced that wrong. But, anyway, this book was written by a British author, takes place in the UK, obviously, so there's going to be a lot of British slang that I had to look up. So, I mean, it's not too terrible, the British slang, but you can definitely tell where the book takes place and who it was written by. But basically my whole experience with the book, there was someone who did a review on Goodreads before I did this one who said it correctly. You really don't like anyone except for the friends in this book at all, but at the same time it's one of those stories where you really don't like the main character, but you want to see her succeed and change her ways. I felt the exact same way while reading this. It's like, I really wanted to put this book down at many points, but at the same time, I really wanted Evie to learn her lesson about, like, how this whole, like, thing is literally, ruining her social life. It's like her striving and cheating her way almost to the top of the UK film industry is in damaging a potential romance that she has with another male character that she meets at the beginning of the book, who, if you guys read a lot of romances, you can tell, like, which guy is the guy that the girl's gonna get with. That's basically how the romance genre works. But this romance, what I do like about it also is that it doesn't exactly read like a romance all the way. Like, it has a lot of the romance cliches, but that's because Evie is a huge fan of romance movies, especially rom-coms, and she uses a lot of those examples in order to get this rom-com script done. That is clever. That is extremely clever. But as for the story itself, it'll make you think, oh, Evie and Ezra are gonna get together. I did not ship that at all. And not to spoil anything, I'm just gonna spoil this one thing. For those of you who are thinking, oh, Evie and Ezra, like, we're gonna ship them, don't. Because it's never gonna happen. And you better thank God that it's never gonna happen. So the way I think about it is, I feel bad for Evie at some points, but at the same I do not, because she chose, like, on her own will to do these sort of things in order to, like, keep her job and get ahead of the game. So I am very conflicted when it comes to this book, because on one hand, it's very clever. It takes the cliches and, like, flips them around. Like, it uses rom-coms as, like, the theming, but it's not the main backbone for the book. But at the same time, though, Evie bothers the living hell out of me. It's like, she wants to do right, but then at the same time, it's like, no, I have to remember that I'm getting ahead here, so I'm just gonna do all these bad things, like, on purpose. Like, and she doesn't care who she hurts until, like, the day of her friend's wedding. That's when things get really bad. As they always do. As they always do, things get bad at that time. But at least they don't do what I like to call the big miss, which is short for the big misunderstanding, which is basically a lazy way of writing a problem for romance stories. It's usually that part of the book where it's like, oh, the guy or the girl interest, love interest, ends up in a room with, like, the main protagonist's friend, flirty friend, or sibling, or cousin, and it's like, you think they're gonna be doing the dirty deed inside that room until, like, the main protagonist walks in, and it's like, oh no, you're cheating on me, you didn't love me after all. I hate that cliche so much, because as I said, it's very lazy, it's been done a million times, and basically, like said, it's a big misunderstanding. Like, even, like, the movie makes it obvious how big the misunderstanding is and how over the top it is, yet the main character is so into themselves that they think, oh, it turns out this person doesn't care for me after all. Like, they said to meet me here, but they meet me here with this other person who are just like, they could be just chatting inside that room, and the person would be like, oh, you're cheating on me, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, the book doesn't do that, thank God, and I think that trope died, like, a few years ago. Like, at least novels and romance movies are staying away from that trope, and whoever does, or whatever movie does use it, they're automatically one of the worst sources of media of the decade. So again, thank God for that. So if I were to rate this book accurately, I would do it a, maybe a 3.5 out of 5. It's not that bad. Like, if you're into these, like, types of characters where, like, you want to root for them, but at the same time they're not exactly that likable, go ahead. Like, I would recommend this because it's one of the better books of that type of character archetype. But if you're really not into the characters who are just, almost can't find a single reason to like them, then you wouldn't exactly like this book, especially how most of the men inside these books are downright losers except for one, and you know exactly who that one is off the bat. It's predictable, but at the same time it's not. It definitely threw me a couple of curveballs, and I did like that. But would I read this book again? Probably not. But like I said, if you either enjoyed this book or you want to read it for yourself, go ahead, I insist. I would recommend that you do, because it's one of those, like, books that throws the genre into a curve. So that's pretty much it for Would Like to Meet. If you liked this little review or impressions video, please hit the like button below. Also, if you read the book and you have other opinions about it, please be free to share them in the comments below. I'm very interested to see if you liked it or if you didn't like it, whatever your opinion is. Also, if you haven't done so yet, please check out the rest of my channel and please hit the subscribe button for more content. I'm Cait, Cher, and it's been real. Ciao!